Hello fellow YouTubers, if you're new to the channel, my name's Neil, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Now, step back a bit here so we're in the light, my gripes with the GH7 is batteries. There's probably nothing wrong with the batteries themselves, but the camera does seem to go through them reasonably quick. So, having come from an industry where we use bigger batteries, I want to find an easier way of doing it. So I've been on, the internet, the usual sort of thing, and I've seen, of course, the old V-lock plates. So I bought a V-lock plate, similar to this one I've used before. This one's got an extra D-tap on it, and it also has a voltage readout, which I may well adapt this whole system to a bracket like this, so I can run the camera via a V-lock via a dummy battery, so that it can run all freaking day on one battery and not have to worry about, oh, it's going into the red and I haven't quite finished my spiel type thing. So with the combination of this one, I think I bought one of the plates. I think the cheese grate was about $6 or $7 and the bracket was about the same. But if you buy the two of them together, they seem to be around about 20 or 30 Australian dollars, which is kind of stupid. Anyway, so two different suppliers, and it's about $12 to $15 tops to make that. So now I've got to adapt that onto that, so hopefully I can then run a V-lock. I bought a couple of second-hand ones off eBay, and we should be good to go. We can run the camera all day long with one little V-lock, compared to, I don't have one here, the standard battery that goes in the Panasonic. So let's try and figure something out. Okay, so off camera I've taken the bracket off. I did it off camera, which is probably just as well, because it took me 5 minutes to find a Phillips head screwdriver. Then it took me about another 2 minutes to find the screws that fell on the floor, so you really didn't need to see all that at all. Okay, so now I've got the plate off, the indentations where the screws go onto this. Now we've got to find a way of doing it. I'm going to mount this on here that way round. The reason when you slide on the rails I'm putting it that way is when you get a normal V-lock, you would slide it that way to lock it on. So if I'd done it that way around, of course, I couldn't get it on, so obviously it's got to go this way. So at the moment we're just going to try and find a couple of holes that might line up with something. And it goes that way up, so we get it the right way around for starters. And we're going to try and get these off to one side, and I'm going to take this one apart. I've got more of these, so that's not a big deal, and I'm going to try and mount this somewhere. I don't know, go underneath it or something like that. I'll fix something to it. There doesn't seem to be a lot of holes that line up. Maybe I should have put it the other way around. Well, I can put one hole there, I can put a hole there, and that one almost lines up with that one, but of course nothing else does, so that's normal. So I think we're just going to give up on that idea. We'll mount it something like that in the middle. We'll turn it over so it looks half reasonable when we're doing things. And we'll just find a hole that we can screw through. That shouldn't be too hard. Really it's designed to go like that, isn't it? Let's just double check our holes, because hey, we all love to make mistakes. Not. Yeah, so yeah, we have got the right way around. If I put it off centre, I could almost get two holes to line up. But who wants to have it off centre? These are a pain in the ass. Yeah, so you go that way around. Yeah, right way up. God, I could almost centre those ones. This is going to take a little while. Why don't you come back afterwards? I'll tell you when I'm finished. Right. Had a look at it. Looked at all the holes. Yes, I could probably get something to work. Yes, it would be a bit of a fiddle. And I'd only probably get 2 bolts in, which would be those two there. This place not wide enough to actually get all of them on there. So I thought, why don't I just do it the easy way? I have a mill over there. I could actually mill up a piece of aluminium plate to go between the two of them, make it all work, and that would probably take me about 2 hours to do. No one's going to see it. I'm not taking it out on a production or anything like that, so I'm just going to cut a piece of plywood big enough for this to sit on, plus a little bit of extra to hang over, because I'll probably end up mounting this underneath it, so I've got a breakout to put more things into it. I'm also going to put the voltage display somewhere there too, so I'm just going to go and chop a piece off on the old compound slide saw over there and make a lot of sawdust and a lot of mess, so I'll do that off camera so you don't have to go through it. And then we'll start putting it together, perhaps either today, or because this might be done in 2 parts, and it's getting close to lunchtime, so I might be stopping for that. And also my wife will be home shortly from her exercise class, so I'm going to cut this piece of wood up, and I might cut a couple of strips, so I might even do 2 pieces of wood and work something from there. Okay, and I'll be back. Three pieces, just in case. I was going to use the 3, but I thought, well, got a scrap left over, I might as well just make another one. So the theory is, these two will be together, they'll be fixed onto that, paint them black, put that on there, gives it plenty of room, battery, go around and onto there, okay? These are second-hand batteries. They may not reach full charge anymore, that's what I was told, but considering the size of a Panasonic GH7 battery to this monster in comparison, that's a big difference. So that's the only reason I'm using it. So I'm just going to put a couple of screws through the bottom of here, through the 2 pieces. Yeah, I'll probably paint it black and give it a bit of a sand, all that sort of crap, later. At the moment I just want to see whether it works. I'm not going to use that one, it's got a great big chunk. Try this one. And we might put the 2 best sides so they're sewn and the 2 worst sides together. Might even put a bit of glue on them. Hey, what the hell? Put a bit of glue between them, make them into one so it makes it nice and thick. Okay, plenty of room, as I say. That on one side, bracket on the other, like so. Then underneath can go that. I'll fix it. Might even use another piece of wood down there. Might even actually cut a piece of wood off here so it goes into there. That might be a good idea. So I've got at least that much, and maybe the other piece there to fix it to. Put it here. So it's nice and thick and holds it all together. Gives this something to fix to. I don't know what we glue it on with at the moment. Really don't want to have to put screws all the way through the bloody thing and short the wiring, all that sort of shit. Anyway, so we'll go and put it together, see how we go. I'll kick the table because the wheel's sticking out. Hopefully we've got enough nails. Yep. Using the nail gun. And probably the nails are too long. Oh, that one's moved. Right. There we go. Okay. Yep, not bad. One more for good luck. Oh, I think that's the last one out. We had half a dozen in there. Give it a bit of a wipe over. So the theory is now, you see there, that'll actually be glued onto there later. I may have to make sure we've got it the right way around before we glue it on, because D-taps only fit in one way around. If the cable's exiting out at the end, we want to make sure it's all the way, it's on the right way when we glue it. So that we'll do a little bit later once all this is done. But that's it for the moment. Yeah, it doesn't look anything wonderful. It's just a piece of scrap wood out of my scrap wood bin. I'll give it a bit of a sand, give it a bit of a coat of paint. I'm not overly fussed. No one's going to see it but me and anyone who actually watches this, so then they'll know what's behind it. Okay then. This is part 2, I think, or 3 of the videos of building a sled to take a V-lock battery. As you can see, it's on there at the moment. This is a second-hand one I picked up off Marketplace. So this is the actual unit complete. Okay, you can see there. That's all the wiring at the back. The wiring is fairly simple. The plate came with 2 wires out. So all I've done is pass the wires through the wooden block I made, through one of the holes in the cheese grater backing. I stripped the bare wires, wired it up to the voltage meter, okay, and to the D-tap block, making sure that, in this case, red to red, black to black, and heat shrunk them all together. Okay, so that's all there is. Nothing special to it. This V plate actually has one D-tap on it, only one. But with this, I can run multiple things. I can power the camera, I can power a monitor. Now, the batteries I got, which are second-hand, they're an old style. They do not have a D-tap on them at all. So my way of getting around the problem is to make this plate up with that on the back, the distributor, the D-tap distributor, as you can see. Okay, and that's how I'm going to power up the camera. So say I put a fresh battery in half an hour ago in the camera, 4 bars it was showing when I first started. It's now down to, it's flickering between 2 and 1 bar, and that's only just been over half an hour, and that's why I want to start running them off V-locks. I'm still waiting for the adapter to actually arrive, a Condor Blue. The Condor Blue are the ones that are recommended for this particular camera, as giving out the right voltage so it can run high-speed stuff. In other words, I'm in the power region, 100 frames per second. If you're in the NTSC region, 120. So you can see there the display is on, telling me what sort of voltage is coming out of this battery. Now this battery is what I would call hot. It's just come off the charger. It was a dumb charger, not a smart charger. So it's a D-tap battery charger. So basically I have to put it on the plate to charge the thing. Unfortunate, but that's the way it is. So that's all I've got. So this should hopefully do the job, so I can run basically as long as it takes me to fill up the card, and at the rate I'm going at should be quite a few hours. So the battery will probably run as long as the card takes to fill up. So that's all there really is to it. There was nothing special. You saw me making up the piece of wood. I've just painted it black, screwed all the pieces together. I've just used some black gooey glue on it just so it doesn't look too bad and horrible. Same with the voltage meter, and that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Okay.